And Charles, I did want to ask you though, why is Florida a leading foreclosure state, and when can we expect to see a recovery, appreciation in property values?
Our research and all of you, and I would like to begin by first thanking all of you for inviting me and Scott to educate, hopefully this morning, so that you guys can go out there and do some more business. But in regards to Florida and what's happened, looking at Trulia, Zillow, Forbes, Realty Track, I've pretty much done some analysis over the last few years to see that in 2006 our unemployment rate was just a little over 3%. Does anybody want to take a guess at where we're at right now?
12.
Yeah. Overall, it's at least at 11+%. And as a result, our property values have continued to slide down. Even though I think we can all agree that there's a lot more activity in real estate this year and last year than there has been for the last several years in Florida, even though we're still, I think, overall experiencing a decline in real estate. We're really expecting that within the next year, 2 years, that there should be some sort of recovery as interest rates also begin to start coming up. As a whole in Florida, the statistics show that we're anywhere between 42 to 48% of the homes in our Tri-County area is underwater, which we're going to be talking, Scott and I, over and over about what's happening and when you decide short sale over, loan modification over, bankruptcy over, other alternatives that also exist for your clients that you're out there and meeting with. With 42 to 48% of homes being underwater, it's just that their mortgages are more than the values of their properties. And you've got to help educate the community out there on what avenue, what recourses are out there for them to afford them. And the banks are working with the homeowners, and the attorneys are helping to facilitate that process and working with the agents to hopefully, accomplish more sales in this market, which will create the turn. The overall in the leading states in the country with the foreclosures are California, Nevada, Florida, and Arizona. Those are your top 4 states. They're considered the retirement states and the sunshine states as a whole. And Florida seems to bounce anywhere from between number 2 and number 4 over the last couple of years. Thank you.
Well, that's great. This question is really for both of you. So I'd like to ask you both to participate in this. And Charles, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
Sure.
How do you qualify a seller for a short sale? And then Scott, I'd like you to participate in the question as well.
The first thing when meeting with a homeowner to decide whether or not to short sell the property or to consider maybe a loan modification or to consider foreclosure, one of the first things I look for is what is the property value to the total mortgage liability against that property. For example, there's a client that I've had, they've got about a $300,000 mortgage on this property that's only worth $100,000. Overall, with these loan modifications, the banks are not forgiving mortgages. We do successfully sometimes negotiate seconds, but at first, that $300,000 mortgage is not coming down. They'll sometimes reduce the payments on average about 30%, but let's say, for example, that $2,500 mortgage is down to $1,000 a month. If you still have a $300,000 liability on a property worth $100,000, your client, my clients that I'm doing these loan modifications, still come back to me saying this just does not make sense. I make it clear at the beginning, it's not going to make sense. The banks may and will eventually do the loan modification, and overall the process is taken about 3 times longer to accomplish a loan modification than doing a short sale, which kind of explains what the banks are wanting to accomplish on their end. Statistically as well, and you can do this research online, it's anywhere from about 70 to 80% of these loan modifications fail anyway, so it's a waste of time for anybody involved to accomplish doing a loan modification, including my firm. I don't know other law firms that are out there that's doing it. For the homeowners that are doing it, for realtors that are trying to facilitate this process, it's a waste. Overall, you're going to notice that you're wasting your time because you're following that statistic of 70 to 80%, you're going to fail. Homeowners just become lazy after you've missed and not making payments for a year to get back on track with making mortgage payments, and especially on a home that's underwater, especially significantly. The second thing I'd want to say in regards to qualifying a homeowner is a loan modification may make most sense for that person that actually has a mortgage that actually matches the property value, comes very close to the property value. That would be like the only candidate to maybe consider or maybe advise that, yeah, maybe a loan modification is the right thing for you, and then to match them maybe with a law firm that actually can facilitate and assist them with that process.